Hello everybody, my name is Mitch Grime and I'm here to talk to you about the history of tools. So, as with all good speeches, I'm going to start off with a joke. So what is an Axe's favorite TV cooking show? Can't give you the punchline just yet, but stick around, pay attention, and you'll hear it at the end. So, the earliest tools were made of flint and stone, and despite millions of years of advancement in tools, we still see today flint and stone tools being used and made, and they're still very effective. The very first tools were simple stone hammers, about like this. And they are found 3.3 million years ago. The first worked tools would be something like a blade or a projectile point made of stone that was carefully chipped away and shaped to perform a more intended function. We see those about 2.6 million years ago. The first metal tools, those were made of copper, and we see those about 9,000 years ago. So how do we know all this? Well, the BBC claims that the first tools, as I said, were simple stone hammers. Here is a very simple stone hammer, and you can see how easy it is to grab and hold and bang on things with. This stone hammer is much newer. This would be on the order of about 1,000 years old, but this is an archaeological artifact. Those very first stone hammers were found in Kenya. That one I just showed you was found in northern New Mexico. Again, about 3.3 million years ago. And indeed, they're so old that they were probably made by a predecessor genus or predecessor type of species of human, essentially. Something like Australopithecus or Kenyanthropus, which are much smaller and more like a modern ape. So, what's the next step after banging on things with a rock? Well, make the rock sharp. So those, according to Dr. Thomas Plummer, the very first worked tools, like I said, those are tools that have just been formed and shaped very carefully. Those are found in Ethiopia, about 2.6 million, and they were produced some 2.6 million years ago, probably made by Homo habilis, which means handyman. Kind of a fitting name, you ask me. So, these show early intensive design and problem solving because the edges are shaped for cutting. They are shaped to solve a problem, probably to separate meat from bone or separate meat from other meat, something like that, right? This is the beginning of modern tool making. This is, again, Ethiopia 2.6 million years ago. The next major leap after worked tools, right, we see increases in stone tool production. This, that I want to show you here, is a stone projectile point. This is also an archaeological artifact. This is about 1,000 years old, found in northern New Mexico, but this is an obsidian projectile point. So, the next leap, after stone tools that have been carefully worked, well, of course, metal tools. The first metal tools, according to Fazeli, Donahue, and Cunningham, those are found about 9,000 years ago. And they were made of copper, and they're found in what is now northeastern Iran and northwestern Iran and eastern Turkey. After that, we see about 5,300 years ago, we see the first bronze tools. Bronze is a mixture of copper and tin. It's a little bit stronger and a little bit harder. And we see those in what is now northern and central Iran. Again, Iran. And about 3,200 years ago, we see the first iron tools. The predecessors of now modern steel tools, and those are found in Western Turkey. So all of these innovations in metalworking happen in what is now Turkey and Iran, just a few hundred miles apart, which is pretty incredible. So, and then we move on to things like modern steel tools that first started to appear just a few hundred years ago. So, to recap, the first stone tools, we see those 3.3 million years ago in Kenya. The first worked tools, the first manufactured tools, we see those 2.6 million years ago in Ethiopia. The first metal tools, we only see those about 9,000 years ago, which when you think that we've been talking on the scale of millions, really isn't that long. But we see those in what is now Turkey and Iran. And like I said, flint and steel tools, they're still good. I mean, if I take this projectile point and I lash it to an arrow and I shoot it at a deer, I can still probably kill the deer and eat it for dinner, right? So, what is an Axe's favorite TV show? Chopped. Thank you, guys.